YouTube account to the Simplay one. Put it on, take 2 seconds. Never works well, does it? Never goes to plan.
No, mate. That's what they call life. Monkey Boy with a penalty already.
So he's sped in the pits, then, I reckon.
Yeah, it's pit lane violation.
And here we are live finally. Welcome Simplay Motorsport. Apologies about the delay. Game crashed and then we've just had problems getting back on. It's been an absolute nightmare, but we are back, we are live. Everything is now ready to rock and roll. I'm Matthew Duffin, as always, in the pro category, joined in the commentary box on a Thursday night by my good friend Kelly Davis. Kelly, how are you?
I'm very well, Matt. Yourself?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
So we are here around the Long Beach circuit then for tonight's pro action. If you missed the Pro-Am last night, what a chaotic race. I was in the commentary box by Unorthodox and Andy for that one, and that was absolutely mental. Hopefully tonight not as bad. 13 out of 16 drivers, Emo Guy sadly missing tonight, and we are still missing Keegs and Fury, not sure where they are. They do have 20 minutes so to get back in. Peaceful Explosions managed to sort his problems out and get in as well. Now I've got a bit of a track fact for you, Kelly, that I want to start with. His Keegs just comes in. Bit of a track fact. Dan told it me last night, and I said I'm saving this one for Kelly. Do you know who this track is sponsored by?
Who the track is sponsored by? No, I don't, Matt.
The track is sponsored by Acura, or, for us Honda fans, Honda, if you will. The track is sponsored by them. And I knew you'd love that one, being the massive Honda fan that you are. So I thought I'd tickle you to that little bit of info straight away out the block.
Oh, sorry, Matt. I'm just going to have to nip off because I'm just feeling a little bit sick. Just feeling a little bit sick at the moment, and this is one of my favourite tracks as well. And now it's just been very tainted for me. But
do you know all of a sudden it's just become my favourite track?
Has it really? There's an awful lot of Toyota banners around the track for a
the game's very outdated, so I can only assume that it's a relatively new sponsor to the grid. We've got 13 guys on. We are still waiting for Keegs and Fury to make a 15-car grid. What a track this is. Monkey Boy's already got a time penalty.
Indeed.
Gary under the weather tonight, so we'll have to keep an eye on him and see what he does throughout the session as Keegs just comes into the lobby, so we are now only missing Fury. Gary under the weather, so not a full fit Gary. What can he do tonight, the current leader of the championship? Just going to quickly run through the championship standings, and it goes a little bit like this. Gary 131 on 185 points, 19 points ahead of Big Boy Brazier. With G pulling out, that's promoted D-Biggs to 3rd place. He's 42 behind, with Emo Guy in 4th and sadly missing tonight after he's been in such good form recently. Little Leach went up into 5th place after taking his double points with Andy in 6th. Sutty currently 7th place, and let's see if he's on the pad or the wheel tonight for this one. Peaceful Explosion then just behind him, with Keegs Keegs then sort of just drops off a little bit from Peaceful Explosion in the table by about 26 points, so a bit of a drop off from Peaceful to Keegs. Welshie just behind him, with Phil in P12. I can't remember what it is. It's all messed up now that G's on there. I've got to remove G from that and figure that one out. Mazda then comes up behind her, 1st and 2nd for Mazda. Last week Alton Park put him 4th from bottom, already ahead of Deeks, Unorthodox and Fury, and with Fury not being here tonight, it's not what he needs. Leach Motorsport lead the way with Forever Forward 2nd in the Constructors, Class of 97 in P3 with Iron Brew Racing A, P4, Shake and Bake Motorsport in 5th, Run Flat Racing 6th with DW Racing 7th, Simplay Motorsport, or Simplay Racing they should be known as, in 8th, and then FU Racing, Fury Unorthodox Racing in 9th place behind the one-man team of Mazda. And Unorthodox on his own tonight. He really needed his teammate here for some good constructors points, and he hasn't got that back in at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunate, as we're on board with Dan right at the moment, who's just gone 6th place You're going on quite nicely. Gary, although under the weather, first man into the 17s this evening, just as we were sorting out the gremlins, I was watching him going around, and he's throwing that Porsche around with lots of back end step out with that one. He's some boy behind that wheel. Hopefully he can get his grips on some of the consistency problems that he's been having for the championship and move it forward again. And I'm going to say it again, Matt. I'm hoping that Peaceful has a good race, because he's normally got pace.
Looks a bit laggy.
Jump to him. Yeah, cars looks crab. Oh wow, he's glitching all over the place at the moment, and the car looks like it's crabbing already. But really hoping for Peaceful to have a good race. I really want to see this form as he crashes into the barrier, and it all goes very well.
I don't know what he does there.
No, I don't know what's going on there. Let's come off him. It's painful to watch. But we are hoping that he has a better race this evening, and some of that form and speed, he can put it all together and get a good race out of it. Matthew, tell me about double points this evening.
Double points, we've got 2 people taking their double points tonight. Unorthodox is one of them guys taking his double points, and a late one into the double point mix. Phil taking his double points, leaving just a handful of drivers left to take theirs. They've got they haven't got tonight. Keegs gets disconnected from the session, so hopefully he can get back in. They've got either Indianapolis Road Course next week, or Imola in 3 weeks' time to take that. Obviously, there's a bit of a gap between Indy and Imola, as we're hosting our 2-hour 40-minute event over Le Mans, just with time spread up, so it's as if you're going through the night and into the day. Info about that will be released shortly, so keep your eyes out on the Facebook page or Instagram for information about the Le Mans 2.4 hours. Just a little sort of mid-season kind of bit of fun. But these guys will be competitive as ever. Yeah, I think you're competing in that one.
Well, I've been practicing, Matt, and I'll probably commentate.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, maybe. I'm struggling with it a little bit, to be fair. So, I'm certainly off form at the moment. I'm struggling with everything, every car. But I don't know what's going on there. You know, I've had new glasses recently, so that might be it. You know, now I can see. I'm no good at it. You know?
Now that the corner's actually coming up to you. D. Biggs takes pole position at the moment, provisional pole with 11 minutes left in the session. Just going to go through the comments. Good evening to Nikki, Team Prolapse in the chat. Evening to Neil J, KNJ from last night. Rabbit Joe's in the chat. Holt is in the chat. So is Liam Gamer, Gary as well. Daniel Francis, Peaceful Explosion, all in the chat. I want to see Dan have a good race tonight. I'm cheering for N-Dubs, says so Nikki. He's due a good, and he's had a horrible season this year. He had to drop all his points he got as Gary goes quicker once again. Had a horrible time in the Ferrari. Had to drop all his points to change his car. He's only got 27 points since going back to the Porsche, which he's quite comfortable in. And although the rhythm's starting to come back to him, you know, he's still got a lot of work to do.
I had a shocker on the wrong tyres on the feature race last week, didn't he? As the rain stopped or started.
The rain, it dried and he got left on the wet tyre.
And his pit crew, as the world famous Project Cars 2 mechanics, who are the most useless people in the world unless you want your headlights changed, couldn't really be bothered to change his tyres. So he had
and so I found
nightmare.
out, Kelly, it wasn't just Dan, it was Sutty behind him as well, who had the same problem. So it was 2 of them that had the same problem here. Currently Welshie in the pits, without Gary as well in the pit lane. Still not got Keegs and Fury in. They've only got just under 10 minutes left now. Andy, I've seen him practice 4 drivers in the 1 minute 16s. D Biggs, Andy, Gary, and Unorthodox. But now in practice, seen 4 in the 16s.
Sorry,
Keegs back in, so that's what we want to see. So guys in the 1 minute 16s, and we're a bit off that pace so far.
Yes, they are, for whatever reason. Gary's sniffing around the 16s, just 3 tenths to get there, but only the 3 guys in the 17s. It's really quite competitive at the top. It's all to play for here. Still 9 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time to get that hot lap in.
Now, a few things I just want to point out, guys. Obviously, a video for the drivers. A video went out on the Facebook group where the drivers are pretty much to explain the limit of the pit lane and where the pit exit actually is. So they're aware about that one. Pit entrance also going to be key tonight, because you sort of come out the hairpin, and just as you apply the power out the hairpin, you pretty much take a right turn into the pits. So interesting to see, evening to Dean Wysocki. Don't know why I'm lagging, says Peaceful Explosion. So interesting to keep an eye on the pit exit lines. That's going to be a real crucial one. Another one for me as well is when the drivers on a quick lap, Kelly, or in the race, lapping or overtaking somebody on that pit exit. The normal racing line is to normally, if we stay on board Monkey Boy here, I think we'll be able to see it. So you come around here, look, and you sort of drift out a bit wider. Monkey Boy keeping it tighter to the wall there. You sort of middle of the road, look. And then you cross that blue line. The blue and yellow line there is the pit entry. What we're not wanting to see the drivers do, and luckily we didn't get this last night, is them crossing that. You've got to be wary of who's on pit exit. Nicky says hopefully no reverse pit entry tonight, Matt. For those who missed last night, check last night out. Dean Wysocki pitted. Now bear in mind, it disqualified Holty for going in backwards. It disqualified Kieran for spinning and going in backwards. Dean Wysocki pitted last night, did half the pit lane backwards, because they don't use manual pit exits, they use automatic, so the AI take over in the pits for the Pro-Am. The AI did half the pit lane, 3/4 of the pit lane backwards, then thought, I best turn around here. He'd already drove past his pit box, so he wasn't doing his pit stop, did a 3-point turn. Dean had a lot of damage on the rear, ploughed straight into the pit wall, gave Dean more damage on the front, turned it round, then went out the pits, and Dean basically had to redo another lap to then pit, but had even more damage than what he'd originally came up in with. If you didn't watch that last night, check out race 1 last night. That was absolutely brilliant. Me and Dan was in stitches.
Later on. I'm going to go back later on and have a look for sure. That sounds fun. So we're just on board here. So yeah, to point this out again, to reiterate this, very, very long pit lane on the right hand side. As you see Monkey Boy come. Oh no, he's just gone into the pits just as I. Did you do that on purpose, Monkey? Let's see where Andy is. D-Big. Yeah, D-Big just come across the pit lane line there now, and this can happen. What's just happened in front there can happen really easily on this first turn. It's a 90-degree turn. It's very, very fast, and it's extremely easy to end up in the tyres, and we're going to see it happen. And if you've got someone coming out the pit lane, like you've just pointed out, Matt, it's going to be very, very tight into turn 1. There's going to be plenty of incidents in there. I'm going to try and find someone to do a full lap with. Lucky Boy, Bad Boy, Big Boy Brazier is... Yeah,
he's got many a name, Anti-Now. Many a name,
so many
this
names,
boy.
Absolutely. So many accounts as well, all very dodgy. But let's go on board and go do this lap. So across the start, finish straight. Let's say long...
just as he's done that, he's gone into P2 as he started that lap. Sorry, Kelly.
Certainly has. He's flying long straight over to the right hand side. Brake as long as late as you dare. Pick up the curb. Try not to hit the wall. Love this bit round the fountain. Hard braking down to first gear. Accelerate. Don't touch the wall. Oh, and what I'm there. You want to stay off that curb on the right hand side. That will take your wheels off the ground. But you can hop this curb a little bit. Try not to hit the tyre wall on the left hand side.
And he's gone into pit. Oh, we've lost Peaceful Explosion. Oh, hopefully he can get back in with 5.5 minutes remaining. I'll let you carry on your lap, mate.
Well, I'm going to try and find somewhere to start, because everyone keeps.
Mazda's just coming up to the fountain.
Yeah. Right, Mazda, back to the fountain. So that's turn 3, 4 through there. Don't hit this curb, but take your wheels off the ground, but try to stay off the wall. The next corner coming up, you can just put a wheel on the curb, just like that, and watch tyre wall on the outside. Bring the car across, look for your marker. This is the trickiest corner on the thing for me to apex. It's the trickiest corner to apex just there. Accelerate hard through here. Back end will want to skip out. Got to line this one up right. Again, the tyre barrier on the left-hand side. If you do it wrong, you're going to be in there. And we are going to see people in there on that tyre barrier. These tyres don't move. So back straight now, flat scat. Trying to pick up your braking point somewhere around the 300-metre board. Again, try not to take too much curb, but enough so you don't run wide out into the left-hand side. Weird end to this, like a long left and then a very tight hairpin. Very tight indeed. Win or lose, lots of time. Pit lane entry just there, missed it, comes up so quickly.
Yeah.
People are going to be coming around that last corner and then turning right immediately for their pit stops. So look out for that. Pit stops in, pit stop out is all going to be very, very crucial and very, very tight. So need to be careful with that. As Mazda is where? 7th at the moment.
7th.
Yeah, and the top 7, less than a second on the top 7. As we see Mazda then end up in the wall.
So close in that top 7, and Sutty's just outside that 1 second zone. Just needs a tenth or two to find somewhere. Keegs well off the pace at the moment, 11 seconds as Gary. That's the other problem with this circuit. There's 2 parts of this track, that being one of them, where there's just a tyre wall on the outside that you can easily just run a little bit wide and clip that wall, and that can give you some big damage. The other one's here.
Yeah, right here. This is one of the worst ones because the back end will skip and slide, and that tyre wall is just comes up far too quickly. And of course, they don't move at all. They are solid. So once you're in there, it usually spins the car round, or it certainly puts it at 90 degrees and just makes a whole kind of mess, really. So it's going to be look out for that. That tyre wall is one of the worst ones. In turn 1, plenty of incidents on turn 1 this evening we're going to have, as Gary's Porsche is looking pretty second hand. He's had a couple of bumps and whatever as he goes across the line. Doesn't improve on his time. We'll see if he's on another quick one. Couple of pit lane violations. Phil, Monkey Boy and Keegs have all got pit lane violations, so they've been pushing the button a bit too early and speeding in the pit lane or something along those lines.
And that's the other one with this pit lane as well, is a long, frustrating pit lane. It takes you so long in, pit stop out. You do not want to drive through penalty at this track, because let me tell you, it will hurt you more than a pit stop would, because it's such a long pit lane. You will not believe your luck if you get a drive-through penalty. Little Each in the pits, 2:09 on the clock. He has got time to get in a lap. Peaceful Explosion says, sorted my connection, had a UDP one to my phone causing issues. Oh, as Gary loses the rear car. So Peaceful's in. What can he get now? Oh, there's Mazda popping up from nowhere. Sees Gary. How are you, mate? How you doing? And drives around. Here comes another car. This could be the problem with this circuit. Phil gets caught out a little bit there. Just looking at the times.
As you can see right there, that is a bottleneck right there. Do you know what I mean? If something's down it, looks like Jamie in the background just coming around getting a little bit sideways. You are trying to line that corner up as you enter into it. You're trying to apex get as tight as possible to the right hand side on the apex without drifting and hitting that tyre wall, and that is going to be the issue. Or really is the issue with that one.
It is, and it does sort of, like you say, it's like a bottleneck. It does really sort of go quite narrow very quick, and then all of a sudden just opens up again, and you can fit 2 cars side by side down that straight. So it is one to keep an eye out for this evening. Little Each will not get another lap in, so his qualifying is done down in P9 provisionally at the moment. Still everybody still out on track to get one more lap in. Peaceful Explosion reckons he's fixed his connection then, needs to get a time in. I didn't see where he was before he disconnected. Can we find him on track and try and pick him up, see how he's doing? He's kind of really got 1 or 2 maybe laps. You see, ignore the ghosting cars. That's because Peaceful's came into the session late. The other guys on track can't see him, but Peaceful can see them, but they'll turn into a ghost as Andy and Welsh or Deeks, if one of them got caught up with each other. So Peaceful's kind of got a free track here. He won't see the other cars. Will get another lap in. Andy goes quickest, 200ths quicker than Gary. Unorthodox has gone up into P3. So the top 3 separated by not even a tenth of a second. Come on, Jamie, says Kaylee in the chat. Peaceful in that time went P11. Now he's got his tyres nice and roasty. Let's see what he can do. Round the roundabout, as close to that left-hander as you can. I mean, again, don't hit that curb like Kelly said. It will sort of bounce you onto 2 wheels. Try and take a lot of this curb. The corner sort of falls away from you a little bit. It cambers away, so you can slide that car through there a bit more than you think. As close to the wall as you can get on the outside. Keep it tight in. Just touch a bit of curb. Over to the right. Switch back across to the left before you get to the bottleneck section of the circuit. And Peaceful at the moment looks like he's done a pretty decent lap so far. It's quite nice and tidy, isn't it, at the moment? Everybody's starting to pit. Yeah, very good. Where is he? He's only 2.5 off the provisional best. So get this last sector right. What could it be for him? Try not to catch too much of this. Peaceful takes got a bit greedy there again. You don't want to take a lot of this curb here. Keep it as close to the left as you can, as wider entry into that hairpin as possible. Gets round it nicely. Carry this as much speed through as you can, and it's foot flat to the floor as he's going to cross the line. And where's this going to put him? Because that lap was quite impressive.
Oh, he only went up one place, but he did go considerably faster on his previous lap.
1.2 quicker.
Yeah, but only enough to go up one position, that was. So who's left on track? Who's left to go? So Mazda is coming across the line now. There we go. We just picked him up, and I don't know where he ended up because he was the last man across the line.
No, he was the last man across the line.
In just a second, Mazda ended up in sixth.
Sixth place.
Yeah, so only top six in the 117s. Andy on pole with Gary in second, as you pointed out, Matt. Just 2 100ths of a second separates them. Daniel, good qualifying, only a couple of hundredths behind in third place, and then Jamie Brazier in fourth, D Biggs in fifth, Mazda in sixth, seventh is Phil.
Seventh is Phil, but has a 2-place grid penalty, so he'll actually drop down to P9, promoting Sutted seventh and Little Leach up to eighth. Monkey Boy was 10th before a grid penalty will put him P11, so peaceful P10. Keegs qualified 12th, but will drop behind Deeks. Deeks will come up to P12. Keegs will start 13th, and Welshie will round off the grid in P14 for them Lamborghinis. So 4 grid penalties, 2 for 1 driver, so a bit greedy for Phil on the old pit limiter button before we got into the start, before he left the pit lane.
Yes, indeed, and it looks like the sun's starting to go down a little bit here at Long Beach. I might have to put my long trousers back on. I've got my board shorts on at the moment.
It's absolutely roasting on this beach.
Absolutely roasting here at Long Beach. I think it's up to about 32 degrees.
Just to say, you need to have a word with your boy. He was in a red bikini last night commentating with me on the beach. He was in a red bikini. I think you need to sit him down and have a chat with your boy.
I don't think that's the kind of chat I need to have with my son, to be fair. I'll leave that one go, to be honest. Oh dear. So we're just waiting for the start now. It's a standing start for this one, and 24 laps of this with yes, we are with a pit stop as well, aren't we? Both races.
Both races, mandatory pit stop. Pit window is lap 10, unless you have significant damage beforehand. So we'll see what happens to the guys in this one. Yesterday's race one, we had about half the field in the pits before lap 10. So, a lot of damage for them guys there. Yeah. Hopefully the pro are a bit more well behaved. 2 less cars on the track for this one than normal, and we stay stateside for next week as we head to the Indianapolis road course, the Brickyard, if you will. I do believe it's kind of nicknamed the Brickyard next week for the Pro and Pro-Am. So we stay in stateside for this one, a short trip up to Indianapolis for the for that one. So a good circuit as well. I like the Indy circuit.
That's good news, because these long haul flights are killing me, mate.
Killing
me,
yeah. I don't like flying, so the fact we get to stay here is even better.
Absolutely. I know Sim Play's picking up my expenses bill, but still,
I've been emailing it to Motive, and they've been sorting it out, but don't you worry.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah. I've got an ongoing account with Motive as well.
Oh yeah, racking up the miles. We've got all the air miles as we are all synced up. You see there now, we are about ready to go racing. The revs are going to start to rise, and for the first time tonight, it's lights out and away we go here at Long Beach for this race in California. Andy gets off the line brilliantly. Gary's reaction's a bit slow. He's got Big Boy Brazier and Unorthodox right behind him. Going to get very tight up into turn 1. Drivers need to behave as they come down the first stretch into turn 1. Is Jamie going to have a look up at the inside? And Gary gets a bit of a bump in the back from D Biggs. And I tell you what, relatively clean around there. Andy scraped the wall a little bit on the outside, but everybody seemingly through unharmed there. Mazda dropping back a few places.
Yeah, there was a bit of pushing and shoving towards the back, nothing too serious by the looks of it, but there was a bit of argy-bargy towards the back a little bit, but as they kind of get themselves sorted out, whatever, reasonably clean turn 1 that was, which is going to make a lot of people happy. And so Andy, with a cracking start, had a really good jump on Gary. As you said, Gary was a little bit slow on the uptake, but hasn't done him any real harm. He's still there in second place, so the winner there, Jamie, was jumped unorthodox a little bit there, and Mazda went backwards a little bit, a couple of places, but pretty much good start from these guys and good clean racing. It's what we expect from them, as we're nearly done with lap 1 already.
We are nearly done with lap
Jamie
1.
Said, Jamie a little bit scruffy on the hairpin before the start finish straight. So Gary's all over him now. Look,
I was just about to say, look at Gary's run. He got a good run right through that hairpin. He seemed to carry the speed that Andy couldn't, and he's already got the run up the inside. And Andy's going to have to yield this one to Gary 131, who goes up the inside, but he's outbraked himself and just clips the wall as he's outbraked himself into turn one. Jamie can't find a way through because it's all a bit tight towards that roundabout section. You could barely fit 2 cars through that roundabout. Nicky says that was an awesome start, nice and clean. Indeed it was. And Gary there got the job done, but just outbraked himself and hit the outside wall. Could that have significantly damaged his... Yeah, we did say, and this is the problem. You just try and outbrake your opponent, and one little mistake around here, it's like Monaco at times in the Formula 1. One little mistake, one little outbrake yourself, you find yourself in the wall. To the bottleneck we go. Jamie looking on the outside, never going to get that move done around there on Gary. No. It's too tight, it tightens up too much to go around the outside. You've got to commit and commit early. Dan following these two at the moment. This is the battle for second place on track. Where has Sutty gone? He's lost out to Little Each. So has D Biggs, as Little Each now up into P5. Mazda, what's happened to Phil? Phil, I've noticed, has dropped down to P14, so Phil really has dropped down the order a little bit.
Yeah,
down in last place. Yeah, for Paul, first couple of laps then. Phil down to 14th place. Mazda then on the back of D-Biggs and Sutty, but as they cross the line to start lap 3, it's Andy from Gary, from Jamie, from Unorthodox. On board with Unorthodox now on his bonnet view. Let's take a look at how it looks into turn 1. The Lamborghini being caught in the slipstream, but Jamie stays left and keeps that inside line. Dan brakes a lot earlier than Jamie, and has Jamie just outbraked himself? I thought he had for a moment there. It looked like he was going to go straight on, but got it done well.
I was looking at Jamie thinking you're going to go straight on with that and bang into the tyre barriers, but he didn't. He kept it all together, made the apex, and didn't really lose any time to Dan at all. So that was neat driving from Jamie.
Oh, there. Andy's in the wall! Andy's in the wall!
And he's lost it. Yes, you say. He's
right
what's
in the he done there? Had
no.
such a gap as well. He didn't really have to push hard, but he's in the wall. Could have significant damage. Sutty's now got past. Mazda's got past Andy as well, so Andy's dropped to 7th. Ah, man, Peaceful, what's happened back there? He's in the pit lane.
No.
Oh, Peaceful, what has happened? He's in the pits. That gets his pit stop out the way. But Gary then, after outbraking himself, he's now in the lead of this race. Big Boy Brazier and Unorthodox, so still following suit at the moment. On board with Dan. Again here, Deeks spun, nowhere to go, had to pit. So there we go. Deeks had a spin, and Peaceful caught him with the sounds of that one. But these three out front, well, Gary's just starting to pull away from Jamie a little bit here.
Yeah, Jamie seems to be struggling on that last hairpin a little bit.
Oh, Sutty's in the wall behind. Sorry, Kelly. Sutty was scraping all along that wall behind. Master's got past D-Big, so is this going to allow Master to have a good run on Sutty Apex coming up to turn 1? I don't think so. But back to what was you saying about Jamie?
I said he seems to be struggling out of that hairpin, and which is giving the guys behind him a little bit more traction and momentum down that straight. So I think Jamie just struggling a little bit. But Peaceful still in the pits, and he's on his way out now. On his way out, so he'll rejoin. He had Daft Punk there doing his mechanic work, as you saw in their strange outfits.
Daft Punk no more. They've split after 27 years. Oh, Jamie! Jamie's binned it. You said he looked a bit twitchy, and into the wall he goes. How much could that hurt him here? It's a Porsche 1-2, but it's not the Leach Motorsport Porsches, as Little Leach has now put himself up into 3rd. So it's a Porsche 1-2-3. It's Leach FU and then Leach Motorsport in the top 3, and Jamie's car, I think, it's got suspension damage, because that is pulling right quite a bit there.
Yep, that one's looking like it needs some love. I don't know how much damage he's got. We can't tell that.
I tell you one thing we love that I had to use last night, Kelly. We say, me and you love using you wouldn't like the bills if you're the manufacturers of these cars. Yeah. I tell you what, I had to say it with Dan last night. You would not have wanted them bills last night, because that was a wreck. There was a few hefty bills going about. What has happened to Mazda? He's dropped down to P10 here, as Andy has came into the pits at the end of lap 4. So what has happened to Mazda? Yeah, that looks like it's crabbing badly there.
I would write that one off if it was mine. But
I mean, that's pointing towards us, but going left and further left as the more it goes down the pit lane. There's his crew. Deeks as well. Oh, Deeks has got a penalty.
Oh, going too fast.
Speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, Deeks has a penalty then. Where is Mazda? He's P9, but lost out a couple of places. There was ahead of D-Biggs, lost out to D-Biggs, Keegs, Walshy, as well as Andy before Andy pitted. So I wonder if them two had a bit of a coming together. Monkey Boy filling in again, scoring points for Forever Forward, up in the top 10, ahead of Mazda. Just behind Mazda. and Welshie at the moment. And what this allows is Peaceful to unlap himself from Andy and Deeks then, because he went a lap down on pretty much the whole field. So he gets that chance of unlapping himself here. And what Peaceful can do is just maybe gain a place on those who have incidents and have a long pit stop themselves to do because of repairs, and just pick off a place here and there where he goes. Andy's already out the pit, so to say that car was crabbing quite badly, his pit crew haven't done a bad job there, provided they've repaired his damage. That looks to be the case as he's going flat out. Big boy Braziers came into the pits at the end of lap 5, so clearly too much damage on that car from what we saw.
Another one crabbing.
Oh yeah, these Lamborghinis love to crab.
Yeah, I used to have a Mini that looked like that.
What, like a Lamborghini?
Well, no, not like a Lamborghini. Used to crab.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I've never had a Mini that's looked like a Lamborghini, or a Lamborghini that's looked like a Mini, to be fair.
Here we go.
One of them either.
Mazda's looking around the outside of Welsh into the braking zone at turn 1, and I tell you what, great move from Mazda. That's the job done. Back up into 7th place for himself, and he had a good showing last week in his first outing in the Pro Group this season in that Audi. What's the Audi capable of around here? 3 things I want to say about this track. You've got to be comfortable, confident, and patient around this circuit. Yeah. You've got to be comfortable in the car and the setup, confident to putting it as close to the walls as you can without hitting them, and patient on the overtakes.
Absolutely, and patience. You've got to line them up. Absolutely, it's a street circuit, so it's Monaco-esque. You know, the barriers are unforgiving, as many people have already found out. You know, the damage is and the damage is on for this particular format of racing. So if they hit it in the wall, then it's going to do the damage as we've seen. You know what I mean? Significant damage. So patience is a virtue, and you need it here. Get into a flow, into a rhythm of this track. Again, very similar to Monaco. If you get into a rhythm, you know, and you don't try to be greedy, don't try to outbrake yourself, and so on and so forth, and just you know, I say it week in, week out, don't I? Go slower to go faster. Yeah. You know,
and this typifies that circuit. It's not like going to Daytona here in America where it's a quick track. This is literally the corners are. At some corners you're pretty much standing still as Monkey Boy gets a bit too greedy on the throttle and puts it in the wall. Phil will now get past, and Monkey Boy has to do all that work again. May have damage on the front of that Mercedes-Benz, but at 2 or 3 of these corners, Kelly, you are pretty much standing still before you hit that throttle and go again, especially the hairpin. Who's that's off? Is that Welshie or Deeks? It's Deeks. Deeks in the barrier then. Oh dear, poor Deeks. Hopefully he can get that one back going. He gets to go. Big damage on that car though for him to get sorted. But like I was saying, some of these corners, it is better to just be that bit slower and then just get back on the power when you're on the exit of the corner and just carry the speed through if you can, best you can. Look, you see there, Dan, you're here on his Porsche, not too greedy on the throttle, a bit of a rev sort of mid-corner, but then really back on the power. There again, look, he's exited the roundabout just as he's got level with the wall on the left-hand side, back on the power on the exit of the corner there. It's exactly how you need to drive this circuit, and he's doing a top job at the minute. 3/10 quicker than Gary last time round. Only 2 guys in the 118s. Mazda was in the 119s, so was 3 guys, because Peaceful was in the 118s. Wow, Peaceful actually the quickest man on circuit last time round. Bar that one, he's just on a 124.6, so Peaceful really going good guns back there at the moment.
Yes, indeed, and these two kind of gap Little Leach a little bit. Little Leach now 9 seconds off the lead, so Dan just keeping Gary honest, probably sitting in the car wishing for one of Gary's little hiccups, so he can take advantage of that, because he's right there ready to claim that spot if needs be. The Porsche's going really well around here. Just going back to driving this circuit, I mean, it's basic motorsport rules apply. Brake in a straight line, do your braking, then turn. You know, don't try to brake and turn at the same time, and straighten the car up before you press the accelerator pedal. Press the accelerator pedal when you want to go, instead of on off the accelerator. So it's basic sort of motorsport rules apply. You know, with this track, and kind of stick to that, and you'll go all right round it, you know. So
you will. No, you will indeed. Mazda on the back of his former teammate of last season in the Pro Group, Keegs. What can this guy do? Obviously was in the M6 together last year. What can Mazda do now in his Audi R8 versus Keegs' Lamborghini? Look at the different lines. Mazda, is he having a look? I think he's had a look, but Keegs is well too far out in front there. Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
You say the Porsche goes well around here, because your boy last night, Unorthodox, said that the Lamborghini would go well as the Lamborghini of Keegs loses the rear end at the roundabout, and he's gone to just trim that bit of grass there. He didn't like the looks of that bit, so he's gone to trim it as Phil into the pits at the end of lap X. Maybe Phil's had an excursion where Mazda gets up into P6. But yeah, Dan last night said that the Lamborghini is probably a better car around here. You're saying the Porsche. I said, because the McLaren's in the Prom, I said the McLaren will go quite well because it's quite planted, quite stable. I feel a stable car would work better around here, like the Audi, for example. Well,
I'm just going from what we're seeing. I mean, P1 Porsche, P2 Porsche, P3 Porsche,
P5 Porsche,
P5 Porsche. You know, the guys like Mazda, Andy, Peaceful, who are all usually near the sharp end, aren't really there at the moment.
Big boy Brazier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jamie goes well as well. Aren't really bothering, not bothering the sharp end, are they? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going from what I see here. I mean, for these cars, my car of choice whenever I drive GT3 is the Porsche anyway.
I'm surprised it's not the Honda.
Yeah, sorry, what?
I'm surprised it's not the Honda.
You're surprised? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
I think I'd rather walk.
Oh dear.
I say it again for those out there. Do you know what I mean? Honda, great lawnmowers. Fantastic generators, stuff like that. The power of dreams, really.
Power of dreams.
The power of well-cut lawns, anyway.
And if you want your lawnmowers, a Honda lawnmower may be needed. Obviously, we're coming into the springtime here in the UK, so you may want a Honda lawnmower to get that ready to cut your grass.
Absolutely. If you want a good lawnmower, buy a Honda. If you want a good car, have a Volkswagen.
Yeah, nothing against Volkswagens.
No.
Just at the minute, it's Vauxhall Astras I don't like. Looking at Andy's front bumper there, it's bouncing a little bit. As he had another trip into the wall as he's been lapped by Gary. Gary's also just pulled out a bit of a gap over Dan, just a couple of tenths. Andy looks like he's hit the wall as his bumper's just dragging along the floor here. Obviously, no Emo guy to score constructors' points for these two tonight. Keegs and Monkey Boy in the pits. That's allowed Andy and Big Boy Brazier up into 8th and 9th. Phil as well has got past Monkey Boy, and I assume we'll get past Keegs as well. Yep, there he does. So into the top 10 again for Phil. 14 guys here, so only 7 can qualify. The top 7 finish can qualify for race 2. As D Biggs, the first man to actually pit during the pit window. So at lap 10, the end of lap 10, D Biggs comes into the pit lane and loses out to Mazda in the process. Good pit stop needed for him as Dan and Andy scraping the walls and get very close there.
Yes, indeed. Daniel hit the wall, but still managing not to take the mirrors off, because these cars have got indestructible mirrors, of course. Everything else can break, but the mirrors don't.
Do something actually. Oh, who's that?
Look at that!
Oh, he's got out the way. I don't know who that is. Is that Deeks? I'm wondering, but he's got out the way just in the nick of time there. No, it's Welchie.
Actually.
Yes, it's Welchie. So was on the racing line and managed to reverse well out the way just in the nick of time. He's pitted lap 10 as well, so horrible moment, scary moment for Welchie there. I was just about to say, I was playing the old touring car, the old Tonka 2 game the other night. From 99, if you remember, the classic game. And I'm in the Volvo S40.
Right.
Lost my wing mirror. Project Cars 2, when it came out 2013, I think, you can't lose your wing mirrors. So it just shows how we've evolved as games. A game in the 90s, you could lose your wing mirrors. Now, wing mirrors are indestructible. So it just shows how wing mirrors have evolved. As Sooty Apex has came into the pits and looks like he's got himself a 10-second penalty. You get it, a 10-second minimum for pit lane violation for speeding in the pits. So a 10-second penalty for him. That is not what he'd have wanted in this race, but either way he's pitted, and that is not what he wants. We've just lost the graphic at the top of our screen of the names, and we've got that one back. Brilliant. Yeah, there you go.
I was just going. Yeah, there you go. Just to verify. Yes, it is a 10-second. 10-second that Sooty's picked up, because that's got to be speeding in the pit lane, because that carries a 10-second penalty. So yeah, that's unfortunate. A few guys have Deeks has got that one as well by the looks of it. I was going to say about Andy getting out of the way of Daniel there. He was just coming up to lap him. Gary just getting a little bit sideways there into turn 1. And that's probably what Daniel's waiting for, is for Gary to drop it. And Gary's pace is really good because he is pulling away from Daniel. He's got another second on him.
And this isn't the Gary we've seen in the last couple of weeks, Kelly. We've seen Gary in changeable conditions at times feel confident, but not delivering on the track. He's come here tonight, he's under the weather, and he's putting on an absolute masterclass. P2 on the grid by 200ths of a second, and now he's P1, 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds clear, and doing an absolute cracking job.
Yes, indeed, and Daniel's just going to have to show patience on this one and hope that Gary does drop it or have a little mistake or a scruffy pit stop or whatever, because on pace alone he is pulling away just very slowly from Daniel, and as I said, the pair of them are dropping Little Leach now 18 seconds back to Little Leach. So
yes, that's another 9 seconds since last time we spoke about it. And Orthodox as well, just looked at my laptop to the left of me, his best finish this year, even in the Ferrari this is counting, was a P4, race 1 of the season. He's had another P5 at race 1 Daytona. Bar that, he's had 3 8th positions and 2 10ths. In the Porsche, he's had a 6th, 7th, 2 7ths and a 9th. So not actually been on the podium yet this season, and so far, so good. Mazda P3 has 20 seconds over Big Boy Brazier, who's now in 5th after his stop. Has Big Boy Brazier stopped? Yes, Jamie has pitted, so his early pit stop has worked in wonders. Obviously, Jamie was in between Gary and Unorthodox and span early doors. Here is Andy on the back of D-Biggs for position. So Andy with another early pit stop. Looks like he could try and find another position here to get into that top 7 to not qualify for race 2 for the reverse grid.
Yes, indeed. As we say, we're on board with Andy at the moment and trying to make some good out of this race now. As he he's going in. Oh, there we go. Can read Bridgestone all over that, can't we?
Yeah. Firestone actually being an American tyre supplier here.
Yeah.
So probably Firestone tyres, but Andy there straight into the wall and not what you want to see. Yeah. And that has allowed Phil to he's got lost his
bits hanging off there, look.
Lost his bonnet, his bumper's bouncing around, could have some suspension damage. Dan has pulled the trigger into the pits at the end of lap 14. Andy then could have Phil breathing down his neck in a moment and may find peaceful on the back of him shortly after that one. That is Deeks in the pits once again. He's struggling here. Deeks is a tricky circuit to get right. If you don't get much testing on it, it can be a horrible circuit to get the practice and time in for the race. So Dan pits, as you see, the pit crew there with their slick tyres ready. He's just going to lean on the tyre. Lollipop up, away Dan goes. They didn't even need them tyres. Look, cheers for being there, bud. Run off with it. Yeah, good jog. Good jog
well done.
from
Look like you're
him.
Doing something.
Yeah. As Mazda has just gone past. Is that Mazda who's just passed on Orthodox? No, that's a back marker. And another back marker. Mazda's just now passed on Orthodox. So Dan drops down to P4, maybe P5. There's Big Boy Brazier who comes out. And that's what we were saying about that pit exit line. Jamie just got away with that one in my eyes because he crossed it, but if Dan had been a bit further up the road he wouldn't have been able to have got away with that one. So Jamie just getting away with it, but Dan, sorry, go on.
These guys most probably paying attention, do you know what I mean, and know that there's someone in the pits, and and if they've got their track map on, they'll know that there's someone coming towards the end of the pit lane. So they'll be aware of these things, and as these guys all drive really well, as Jamie's just let Dan go on that one.
I was just about to notice Jamie passed him, but it actually didn't change on the timing screen. Jamie is actually a lap down on Dan, I do believe.
Right.
Although it says the gap's now. Although the gap now says 13 seconds, I'm not sure what is Jamie a lap down. I'm not quite sure, but he let Dan through there relatively easy. So I'm not sure if Jamie is a lap down due to his early pit stop, and the top 4 are the only 4 on the lead lap. That'll be one we'll have to keep an eye on. As there's a Lamborghini going down the straight with no rear spoiler.
Yeah. And I just put the map up on screen, and
Jamie is a blue dot to Dan, isn't he? So
this is it.
Dan and Jamie just trying to cross the pit exit line, take the racing line. Andy had to stop to allow them to do so. That's the problem. I know Andy's a lap down, but you shouldn't really have to stop, even if you are a lap down. A bit unfair. Andy's dropped to 13th place. Great thinking from Andy. Andy's dropped to 13th place. The pole man, don't forget, for this race. Oh, there's Welchie or Deeks struggling through there.
getting out the way.
Yeah, getting out the way very well. So guys who haven't pitted then is Gary and Little Leach, the 2 cars yet to pit, and Mazda hasn't been in the pits for his stop either. So let's see what these guys can do. Mazda just behind Phil, but the car actually behind Mazda on track is an Orthodubs who's 4 seconds down on him at this moment in time.
Yes, indeed. And where are we? 8 laps to go. As you quite rightly said, few guys who haven't pitted yet. So be interested to see where Gary ends up to Dan when he does pull the trigger. Little Leach is just coming into the pits. He's got Daft Punk on the thing, as you said. Split up this week. 24 years together, Daft Punk.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I remember playing their first hit when I used to DJ in a nightclub.
I tell you, he's got another time penalty. Welshie just come back into the pits, so he's got a time penalty as well as Deeks and Sutty. So the 2 DW Motorsport cars of Deeks and Welshie, both have time penalties to their name for speeding in the pit lane then. So not what they'd have wanted at all here. But nevertheless, they'll keep plugging away. And I'll try and make up as many places as they can before the end. This one, lap 17 of 24 here, so the longest race on the calendar so far this season. And we're back on board Unorthodox as he's tried to hunt down Mazda. Mazda, though, still yet to come into the pit lane, as Gary has about a 38-second lead, I believe it is, over Mazda. Yeah, 39 seconds there, you see. Look, 39 seconds over Mazda. So Gary really going good guns at the minute. Oh, and Andy.
Andy again.
In the background, just... Oh, he's retired.
Oh, he's retiring.
Retired from the race, didn't get to lap 18, so will not score a point here. The admins can look at that one and see whether Andy should score points for getting to lap 15 or not. But he will get to qualify. Sutty!
Yeah, and right in the way as well. Let's hope he can get that cleared and moving quickly, and he does. Excellent. Excellent, because someone was going to come round there, and that was turn 1, wasn't it? Yeah. That could have been quite a shock. You come round the corner and see a car there. So, got it spun round and back on the move reasonably quickly. So
now, how much damage does Sutty have there then in this one? Does he have to pit again? One thing I do want to say is his teammate's taking double points. That's the car behind you. 15 seconds is the gap. But are you tempted to sort of let your teammate... He's not taking his double points. Are you tempted to sort of let your teammate through for the double points for the team, or...?
Well, Sutty's got a penalty, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So... I'd probably be helping my teammate. His race is a disaster at this moment, isn't it? So I'd be probably helping my teammate out. Sutty, he could. I think he's really struggling with some damage.
Yeah, I think he's got damage on that car. He definitely looks to be. Maybe he's going to come into the pits, and that'll be where Phil will fly past him. Mazda and Gary still not yet pitted. Is Sutty going to dive in? No, he's going to continue on his way. He does look like he's struggling though.
Yeah, that looks like a mess, that does.
One man who I want to comment on, Kelly, Peaceful was last at the early stages of this race after a poor start, getting caught up in a collision. Back up into the top 10, into P9, running good race at the moment.
Yes, indeed. It's certainly, it's certainly a case of it then over to it's over with this kind of racing. When you think things are dire and you've been spun round and in the pits and a lap down and all the rest of it, it can come back to you. Yes, he's only in ninth, but that's a lot better than last, isn't it? Still a little way to go and anything can happen. I mean, I'd say he's a long way off winning this one, but it takes a whole season and all the points count for that end result, really, don't they?
They do indeed. Guys, get your comments in. It's a bit quiet on the chat tonight. 20 people are watching. It's very quiet on the chat. 20 people are watching. 10 likes. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new. Comment in the chat. Let's hear from you. Get your questions in if you have any questions to ask me and Kelly, whether it be to do with the F1, the touring cars, tonight's races, anything. Let's get your questions in. Let's get them answered. Little Leach been lapped by his brother Gary. He's been in the pits and looks like he's got some awful damage to the front of his Porsche. Don't forget, Little Leach was running P3 at one stage. He's down to 5th behind Big Boy Brazier and Dan, who have pitted. And if he's got damage to that car, that could hurt him for the rest of this race. What's his gap to Mazda? About 27 seconds. That's probably the lap for the pit lane. So Mazda just needs to find a bit more time here before he gets in front of Craig, jumping him in the pits, depending on the damage Craig has. So has Craig lost out on a podium then? Well, I say Craig, aka Little Leach. Has he lost out on a podium to Big Boy Brazier after maybe a bit of damage costing him this race?
Yeah, possibly so. I think you'll find that a couple of guys who are going to end up when this all pans out, it's going to be Mazda and Jamie, Big Boy Brazier, are going to be, end up with some good results. Because, Little Leach looks like he's made a bit of a mess of that car. Although he's still keeping pace there for a minute. So he needs to put his foot down a little bit if he's going to take it back to Mazda. But I think Mazda, I mean, we were talking a few laps back, and Mazda and Jamie were well down the order at that point. You know,
well, Mazda's still
back into play.
Mazda's still yet to make his pit stop. That's Keegs, who span just before turn 1. That's an odd place to spin on the braking zone. Mazda's yet to pit, so is Gary. So, I mean, Mazda's yet to do his stop. Will inevitably come out around Little Leach, whether it's just in front or just behind. He'll be around Little Leach's pace at the moment, I reckon. Sutty's still going, but the gap between Sutty and Phil is down to 3 seconds here, so that one's been caught up. Surely if Phil gets on the back of Sutty, team orders will come into play. Speaking of Big Boy Brazier, here he comes. Just lapping either Welsh or Deeks in the DW Racing multicoloured Lamborghini that just ploughs into the tyre wall there. Yeah, and we come up towards the hairpin corner. Evening race tonight, don't forget, so it's going to get darker the later it goes. Evening race for everybody tonight. The first one of the season. We head to Indianapolis next week for the Pro-Am and the Pro category on Wednesday and Thursday, 8 p.m. on UK time on the Simplay Motorsport channel. So join us for that one. We're at sunny California here as the night's rolling in and the sun's about to set. Beautiful settings as Gary pits.
I've just got a gin and tonic in one hand and an ice cream in the other.
Nice.
While we're just watching this action for the last 3 laps. Just in the comments, Andy's into the comments now as he retired. He's just crash, he's saying, and looking forward to having a better race too. So we'll certainly be watching. Andy's just probably gone and getting himself a pot noodle because he likes them. And he'll be back. Rev right up after a pot noodle as Gary's gone into the pits.
Yeah, Gary has pitted lap 21. I believe his pits is the top end of the pit lane, so he's coming out now. There's no pit crew there, so Gary's done his pit stop. Mazda's not even going to get past Gary by the time he pits. Mazda is where? Diving into the pit lane now. So Mazda as well pits at the end of lap 21, releasing Dan. Dean Wasocki in the chat, watched last night. That is so funny, he says. It was, Dean. You was absolutely hilarious reversing down the pit lane. So Dan now has been released. Big Boy Brazier, I reckon, will get past Mazda. And then we'll see a pit. Oh, we've had a retirement.
Yeah, who's that?
Sutty has retired.
He's gone.
No, I didn't see if Sutty got to lap 18. We're on 22. I think Sutty may have got to lap 18. Mazda has got passed by Big Boy Brazier. Sutty, in the comments, if you're watching, mate, let us know if you got to lap 18, or we'll see after, hopefully. But Sutty and Andy then, both retiring from this race. That's not what Sutty wanted. Bless him. Interviews tonight. We're not going to speak with Gary tonight because if he gets on the podium, he said earlier he was just not feeling well enough to speak. So we'll get a word from Craig, who's in 4th, Big Boy Brazier and Dan, if it stays as it is at the moment. And Craig did come out just ahead of Mazda. Mazda then work to do in the last few laps. Can he get on the back of Little Leach?
He's
well in front actually.
Yeah, he's got a bit of work to do for sure. No real strong battles up and down in the last couple of laps here. So, being that everyone keeps it in a straight line and pointing forward, I don't think we'll have many changes. But look, Gary's managed to, after the pit stop, he managed to gap Dan. Now 12 seconds back to Dan. It was it's bouncing all over the place as the timings sort themselves out. It's now saying, that's more like it.
Yes, 11 and a half seconds.
That's sounding more like it.
So he's gained
Gary,
about 8 seconds?
6, 7 seconds, yeah, absolutely.
So the overcut, going really long, has worked in Gary's favour here.
Yes, absolutely. And Gary having a very, very strong race 1 this evening. Do you know what I mean? He's had this one under control. And Dan's been just as consistent behind him. So, Gary hasn't had room for mistakes this evening because Dan's been kind of most of the race, been there ready to take that off him straight away. Dan on double points tonight as well. Yeah. So a good result here in both races.
Oh,
will
Sutty's
really
left the
help
session.
Daniel.
So we're not actually going to get... Sutty's just left the session, so he was retired. Right. We're now not going to get to see if he did 18 laps. I will drop him a message.
I hope he's not having a bit of a paddy and, I don't know, gone to join a ministry, monastery or something like that. I don't know.
Hopefully we get him back in for A2. something
like that. So Gary on his last lap and comfortable here with a 12-second lead over Dan on Unorthodox.
Jamie, I want to say another thing as well. I've been impressed with Gary's pace. I've not seen many 1 minute 20 plus times from Gary. Oh, as he's been in the wall.
He has. He's had a little bit of a...
He's lost his rear spoiler. He's hit the wall hard somewhere. This, and because he's early on in his lap, that Porsche is going to be a handful for the rest. It's good job it's the last lap of the race. But Gary here, you see the struggles through that corner there. He is going to be struggling at this last part of the lap. Where's Dan? Not coming around the corner.
He's going to be able to bring this home. He's still got 9 seconds on Dan. You know, he's not going to lose. I mean,
he's just got to keep it going.
Yeah, it looks a mess, but it's still pointing in the right direction, and he's still going forward with pace. You get Dan just taking another second out of him, but it's really not going to be too much aggravation for Gary, I don't think. What we could have done with if you're going to smash it up next time, Gary, do it about 3 laps from the end. That would make
bit of a wiggle there for Gary, and you just hear him really not on the power, really feathering the throttle. He is crawling round.
Another 3 seconds out of him, look. But it's all immaterial because Gary is going to make it home.
What a race win for Gary. Dropped to second, started second and managed to get the race win. Good start for Unorthodox tonight. No teammate to up him on team's points, but a good second place for Unorthodox. He'll be thrilled with that one. He really will. Deeks there crossing the line 12th, should I say. So not a bad finish for him. Big boy Brazier, or Lucky Boy Brazier once again maybe, getting himself on the podium once more in 3rd place. So losing points in his title race with Gary. Littleach in the end only got 2 seconds to master and has to get around this part of the track before that one's done. So Littleach at the moment looks like he's going to come home P4. He's got that one done now. He's through the hairpin, if you ask me.
That's it,
Yeah, Sutty got to lap 19, he says. So Sutty did get to the end, so he will get 13th place. 4th place for Littleach. Mazda's going to come home to take a P5, so still solid points for him in his quest to just climb as high as he can. D Biggs, he's going to... Not his best of races in recent weeks, but a P6 nonetheless at the moment is going to cross the line in P6 for him. So good points all in all for him. Monkey Boy just in front of him is going to cross the line in P9.
Yeah, and it looks like everyone's there we go, and race completed.
Yeah, so race completed. P9 for Monkey Boy. Peaceful Explosion come home in 8th place. Phil takes 7th place in that one as well. Fastest lap 1:18.2 from Gary. Just looking everywhere else. Nope, Gary looks like he's taking the fastest lap as well with a 1:18.2. So a heck of a job from Gary in that one. Really good pace from him up until that last lap. We're going to take a very short break and we'll be back with the second session. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Alright, I'm just going to pop to invite Sutty back in. I'm going to... Yeah, I am as well. Yeah. Yep, no worries, mate. Who finished the damn? Right, I'm just going to pop to the toilet now that I've just invited them in, so I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
How are you, Kelly?
I'm alright, mate, thank you. Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all.
Good.
Hello.
Hello, Dan. That was more like it.
Ugh, podium, this is weird.
Yeah. You, did you not, I just seen in your comments that you didn't realise Gary had a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a half, damaged his car. Something terrible. You caught like 6 seconds in the last lap?
Mate, I was cruising the last lap. I was just taking the points.
Yeah, well, you still caught him up by 6 seconds in the last lap. He damaged the car. Something chronic in the last laps, like, you know.
Yeah, I saw the gap coming down. I was like, please, Dan, please, Dan, please, Dan.
I was trying, mate. I was trying.
Yeah.
I found a nice setup where the car is just completely balanced throughout the whole race.
I'm back.
It's not fast. It's not fast at all.
Where's Fury, Dan? Right. Yeah. Ian said he's got to go daughter with his baby daughter or something, but he's on Call of Duty, so I don't know if that's... Yeah, I don't know, yeah. Right, going to start with Craig, even though he got P4, because Gary's not up for an interview, so it's not feeling too well. Right. Don't know what happened to start with. My game crashed. When you get the blue screen saying it's crashed.
Yeah.
Just as we're on loading screen to go into the first session, game crashed and then it won't let me back in, so that's why I had to reset the invites out.
Yeah, we thought you'd put it to the wrong date or something.
No.
I got stuck in the pit.
You know what? I have very little problems like this with my PlayStation. Very little problems. It very rarely crashes or does anything.
It's the game, not the PlayStation.
Oh, right, okay. So... yeah, why's mine very rarely mess up then?
Well, I've never had Project Cars crash. I don't know what.
Maybe it's just having a weird glitch day.
Yeah, it's just something's not loaded. Right, we're going to go back live in a moment. Well done, Dan.
Thanks, mate.
Nice to see you on the podium again. Jamie got lucky once more.
Yeah, again.
I didn't even realise Gary dropped it. I was literally cruising home. I wasn't pushing at all.
Oh, if only he was pushing on that last lap.
We didn't see it, to be fair.
I got the stream on. I got the stream on, and I got my headset on, but it's like soundproof, so I can't hear nothing.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna go back live. Welcome back to Simplay Motorsport. Then I've got the top three. Well, I say the top three. I've got second, third, and fourth in the commentary box due to Gary not feeling well and not up for an interview today. So we're going to start with Little Eats. Craig, it was on the podium for so long, nearly a Porsche 123, but you had a bit of problem at the end. Looked like you had some damage to the front of the car.
Oh, I had quite a bit of damage at the front. I had what do I have on the front? 19 on the front and 21 on the left suspension, but managed to get it home.
Yeah, got it home P4. track seem all right for you? You look like you had good pace, not as quick as the two Porsches in front.
Consistent. I was doing 120 consistent, so I've only had 5 laps, and that was after last week. That's all I've had around here. So yeah, it wasn't too bad to make from the grid.
Obviously, Gary under the weather, but he must have been pleased with the race win. I don't know if you spoke to him.
He's in the party, but he's not really speaking. He said he's happy with the race win, and thanks to backmarkers for moving out of his way.
Yeah, obviously last night, I don't know if you tuned in last night, but a lot of carnage race 1. Not as much tonight, a lot of professionalism from you guys.
Yeah, it was quite clean racing actually. I was quite surprised. Watching the stream last night, there was quite a few ups and downs.
Yeah, a few incidents, we'll say. What's your plans from race 2 from the back of the grid?
Back of the grid, just get my head down again. Hopefully people make mistakes and try and cut them off.
Well, best luck, mate. We'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, good luck,
mate.
We've got Jamie Brazier, Big Boy Brazier, Bad Boy Brazier, Lucky Boy Brazier, whatever you want to call him. Another incident where you sort of lost it into the wall, early pit stop for yourself, and you managed to come away with a 3rd place.
Yeah, so that kind of helped me in a way, because I was on my own, so I could just knock in consistent lap times. I knew I wasn't going to get Dan or Gary, so just trying to aim for 3rd place to catch Craig, and so luckily I managed to do that.
Yeah, another podium for yourself. You was sort of and ahhing with double points, didn't take them effectively tonight, so you've lost points on Gary. Is that something you kind of wish now you'd maybe have taken?
No, I don't wish I'd taken them, because say anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Turn 1, and say I only lost it once. If I'd taken double points, it could have been a whole lot more.
Yeah,
because I would have been pushing.
You're going to start P13 in the next race, bud. What can you do from there on the grid?
Just say try and avoid everything on the first lap, and then try and knock in consistent lap times again and work my way forward.
Best luck with that one, mate. We hope it goes well for yourself. And we've got Dan, 2nd place. Dan, first time on the podium this season. Nice to have you in here. Nice to have you back, sort of in the we've pulled you away from the track and we've brought you back down to the beach. You're in your overalls this time, not your red bikini. And it's nice to have you on the podium again, mate. It's been a long time. It's been overdue.
Yeah, it's been nice to be back on the podium. The last time I was on the podium was at Bruno, I believe, my first and only race to win. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to be back in the Porsche, and it was quite a quiet race for me, a little bit.
I was going to say, you was behind Gary. Oh, sorry, Kelly, go on.
I'm just going to say, is that what you wanted, Dan? Was a quiet race? Just, I know you're a fan of this track. Is that what you were hoping for? Just be able to get your head down and keep a steady pace around the track?
The goal was to try and stick to Gary as much as possible.
Yeah.
I knew Andy was going to be quick. I knew Big Boy Brazy was going to be quick. Actually, the first couple of laps, me and Big Boy Brazy went into turns 1, 2, 3, and I think 4 side by side, and we didn't make any contact whatsoever. So I had a heart in the mouth moment.
I was going to say, it looked early doors like Gary and Andy started to pull away. Then Gary outbraked himself and sort of fell just in front of you and Jamie, and it was kind of you 3 for a couple of laps until Jamie binned it. And after then, you kept a gap to Gary, lost a couple of tenths here or there, but really good pace in the race overall.
Yeah, I find the trick with Long Beach to get a good result is patience and not wanting to push the car. Only push the car to the overall limit and then see what happens. I knew Gary had overall pace, and he just pit me in the pit stops a little bit more. I was panicking as well because Mazda came out in front of me and I didn't know if he'd pitted or not. So I was like, how's he managed to do that? So then I had to think about that, and yeah, it's just I made a few mistakes here and there, but it's nice to be back on the podium and nice to actually race again in a decent car. As well as
that fact, double points for yourself tonight.
Yes.
So a P2, great start to the evening with the double points. It's bumped you up the table above Mazda by 10 points. You're now only 5 off the back of Welsh, you're 6 off the back of Phil. So really, all in all, good start to the evening.
Yeah, but this is where it's going to get tricky now, starting at the back pretty much, and yeah, it's going to be a mission to try and find my way through the pack, but patience is the game, and we'll see what happens. If I'm going to try and stay away from as many cars as possible to start off with and just allow my pace to kind of kick in, but we'll see what happens.
Well, best of luck for race 2, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Be nice to see you, Dan.
Once more. Well, I do plan to see you.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Cheers.
I thought I'd just throw that in there at the end of the interview. Have a good race too, Dan. We look forward to seeing you carve through the pack.
Yeah, I'll try my best. I'll catch you all later.
See you later, buddy. One man I think has changed his equipment. He's made a mid-session pit stop. I do believe this man on screen, Sutty, retired the last race to reload the game. I reckon he's jumped onto the pad. And he has a chance to start at the front of the grid. At the minute, it's our man, Peaceful, our guy, on provisional pole. What can he do in this race? Sutty, then, if he is back on the pad, currently P2, and only 37 thousandths of a second off the back. Monkey Boy as well, under a tenth. And Welshie Deeks, Keegs really struggling at the moment. So Little Each will line up 7th, Phil will line up 8th with Gary 9th, Master 10th, Andy 11th, Unorthodox 12th. Are we missing somebody from qualifying?
Yeah, well, shouldn't Andy be qualifying because he retired?
Andy should be qualifying, so Andy can qualify effectively, demoting Little Each Phil Gary. Yeah. He's still got time.
I was interested to see because as we say, we're on board with Peaceful. He's done a 1:18.9, which was the qualifying in race 1 was in the low 17s. Now we're in the evening, so that would have cooled the temperatures a little bit and would have made it a little bit trickier, not quite as sticky on the tyres. But I'm really interested to see what Andy can do, being that he was the pole sitter in race 1, and what sort of time he can do. We can see the drop off by then for sure.
Indeed we could. Obviously we haven't got Andy on circuit yet. He's got plenty of time to get out there. It may just be a one-shot lap. But at the minute, he's out on track now, so he's going. Yeah. Maybe he's heard us and said that, and realised he can go. So Andy out on circuit, what can he do? He's only going to get 1, maybe 2 laps at this. So really got to nail his 2 laps. He doesn't want any problems in that time. Keegs has gone up into P4 within a tenth of the pole time at the moment. And for Andy, what can he get in his lap? We're on board with Sutty Apex. Is he on the pad? Is he on the wheel? If we jump in, can we jump in the cockpit? If we jump in the cockpit, I think we'll be able to see.
Can you?
You'll know if he's on the pad because he'll be very twitchy turning in. I mean, that all looks smooth.
As it happens, we're going down straight, but yeah.
No, that all looks smooth. Yeah, smoothly into the wall. Yep, just smoothing it out.
Yeah. Let's see how he gets on with this one. Yeah, again, that looks like. Yeah, he's not axling away at that, so
maybe he's on the wheel.
Yeah, maybe we'll try and find out somehow.
Oh wow, Peaceful.
He's listening to the stream, send us a message or whatever.
Peaceful's gone quicker.
Who has?
Peaceful gone up.
Peaceful's gone quicker.
It was 37 thousandths the gap. It's now 6 tenths.
Again, as I said, the ultimate pace in Quali 1 was the low 17s. I don't think we're going to see that in this session, not in the last minute or so. Where is our old friend Andy?
Just crossed the line, so he may get 2 stabs at this.
Yeah, so let's
ride on board.
Let's go on board with him.
To get 2 shots at this, Kelly, he's got to get this one not only nailed, but bang on. One mistake, and it could put him top 7, but he's not going to get that second run.
Yes, indeed, as all looking reasonably clean and tidy at the moment as he hits his breaking point, picks up the apex, runs it out wide towards the wall, just cuffs the wall. No problem there. That's
just normal Lamborghini line with looks of it.
Absolutely. The tricky turn there again, runs the wall, not too close, which is good. Flat scat down through here, pick your braking somewhere around the 300 metre board, pick up the curb, but don't run right over it because you will get a slowdown for that. Now the tricky hairpin at the end, stay out deep, tuck in the apex, try and see the wall and accelerate hard. Let's see what he's going to do. He will get another run in on this one. So we'll see if he takes that. And where does he go? Goes first, 17.6, easy, 3/4 of a second.
Yeah,
that
so
was
not
Hamilton-esque, that was.
Not much drop off there from Andy, and it very Hamilton-esque, leaving it to the last minute to put in a fantastic lap. I don't even think he needs his second run. Peaceful was on provisional pole. He'll now drop to second place. Keegs up to third, just ahead of Sutty Apex, with Monkey Boy now dropping down to fifth. Welshie 6th, Deeks in 7th place, and the top 7 all sorted in this. And Andy doesn't need a second run, but he's going to give it his best anyway. Deeks and Monkey Boy as well on a lap time so far.
I thought Andy was just a little bit tidier around the fountain there that time. So we'll see if he's going to improve
also not kissed the wall there.
No. A little bit of a tidier lap. We don't know if it's faster or not yet, but certainly tidier. He'll know at this point because he'll get a
tell him his delta, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, just into the last section, so much. That was. Did he hesitate? That was handy. That just whoever that was disappeared. But I don't know if he just hesitated and came off the throttle a bit. Again, we'll see. We'll see what it's like. He's going to be the last man across the track. We'll probably jump to a title screen. 1:17.6. He goes across the line, and did he improve? Did he not improve? 1:17.5. So yes, just a little bit, improved a little bit, but 3/4 of a second over Peaceful, who made a cracking job of second place there. Third place for Keegs, Sooty Apex in fourth, Monkey Boy fifth, Welshie sixth, D seventh, eighth for Little Leach, who was the first man not able to qualify. So random order for the rest of the grid. 8th Little Leach, Phil in 9th, Gary race winner in 10th, Mazda in 11th, Unorthodox is 12th, 13th is Lucky Boy Bad Boy Brazier, and 14th is D Biggs, and that's your lineup for the next race. Indeed it is, and it could be an absolute cracking race. Let's see what will happen in this one then. Don't forget, Matt, throw it out there. Ask us whatever you like. Ask the commentators. That's your opportunity this evening. Do it on the messages. You can ask us about anything. Between me and Matt, we know everything. So if you want to know something better than Google, let us know. If we don't know the answer, we'll just ignore you, to be fair. So that's how it goes. We are the Wikipedia of the YouTube world. So ask us. We're like an open book. Any question you like, we'll answer it. As you see, the sun fully setting now and the lights starting to take over on the circuit now. So we're pretty much, you see a bit of sunlight still around, but not a great deal. We are more artificial light than natural light. And we are waiting for the drivers to just ready up for the final time this evening, round 14. Which takes us to next week, round 15-16, Indianapolis Road Course for round 15 and 16. Join us for that one in what should be an absolute cracking race. Just while we wait for these drivers to sync up, Gary now has a 30-point lead in the championship over Big Boy Brazier. Little each moved himself up above Emo Guy in that one. Peaceful went up quite a bit there. Keegs as well jumped above Phil and Welshie. Phil as well jumped Welshie. Unorthodox moving himself quite a fair way up the table and away from that relegation battle by 30 points now. Bottom two, don't forget, go down at the end of the season. And there's still 234 points left up for grabs. Mathematically, Fiore can still win the title, but after tonight, with him not scoring, even if Gary wins the race, that gap will be down to 3 max minimum, should I say. So next week we could start to see drivers dropping out of the championship running. Half the grid in the Pro-Am pretty much can't win that title, so that's already done there. But predictions for race 2, Kelly? Well, we're about to go. Andy on pole again. Like to see Andy do a little better out of this race. Look out for Gary, look out for Unorthodox, Master, Jamie Brazier. We're away already.
We're away. Sooty has got a terrible start. Not quite sure what that was all about. I was about to say, watch out for our man, Peaceful Explosion. P2 on the grid, but he as well hasn't got the greatest of starts. And look at them all just starting to power down towards turn 1. That is Welshie looking up the inside. And he's clipped the wall. And it's a bit of a pile up there. And Welshie really got greedy on the brakes. This has allowed Andy to get away. Peaceful, luckily enough, he normally gets the bad luck, but he's managed to escape that one. Keegs up to third, and look who's P4 already.
Yes, indeed. That's Gary up to P4, and was it Welshie who? It was never going to happen. I saw it way back. He was way too an acute angle to ever have made that corner. It was all a bit optimistic as Gary now takes a stab. And into third place, Gary already. He's done Keegs, and he's now on the back of Peaceful. So Andy with a 2-second gap as we're only halfway round lap 1. All that melee in the beginning really giving Andy a chance to crack on, but it's carbon copy at the moment because Andy's out in front, halfway round lap 1.
He is. Peaceful's very wide, coming through Firestone. Deep he goes. Andy, Gary and Keegs both get past. So Keegs back up to P3, and Gary now at the end of lap 1's gone from the back, from sort of mid-pack of the grid, all the way up into P2, and he's hunting down Andy. Mazda there looked like he got a good run on D Biggs, coming down the hairpin and down the straight there, side by side. Look at these two. Dan just behind, can't do anything at the moment, but Mazda in the Audi is going to keep it tight to the wall. He'll then be on the outside for turn 1. Peaceful though ran ever so deep, and that allowed him to lose 2 places, with Monkey Boy pitting at the end of the first.
Yes, indeed, and D Biggs just had a little clout on the wall. Mazda was down the inside and made it happen. Another one with a cracking start is Unorthodox. He's up into 7th place at the moment. He said in the interview that he's just trying to keep his head down and get through and keep it clean. He's managed to stay out of trouble and got himself up into 7th place, definitely in contention at the moment. But Gary now gapping Keegs a little bit over a couple of seconds. Andy's still got his couple of seconds out in front, so these guys can get their heads down and get on with it as long as they don't make mistakes.
Indeed,
we know Gary's on form tonight.
Sorry, 4 drivers in the pits as well. Monkey Boy, Little Each, Phil and Woshi. And look at this gaggle of cars. Keegs is going slow. Peaceful's got past. Mazda's got past. D Biggs and side by side with... Oh, Monkey Boy's just got a time penalty. Exiting the pits, maybe just pressing that limiter too early. Deeks has gone straight on into the wall. D Biggs and Mazda still touching wheels. And D Biggs gets the job done and kind of cut Mazda's nose off a bit there. That's slowed Unorthodox and Jamie and Welsh and Sutty, down really bad there as well. 16 people watching, 12 likes. Guys, hit that thumbs up button. But Dan has a run on Mazda, and I'll have the inside line coming around. Look at this gaggle of cars as people are exiting the pits. They've got to be careful not to get caught up. Everybody coming across the line. Dan breaks into turn 1. Mazda's not going to make it easy for him around the outside. And look at Mazda keeping it side by side. And Dan's backed out to that one. Probably wisely. Very good, clean racing from the two of them. Hard but fair.
Yes, indeed. That was a standoff. That was. They both went round turn 1 together and cleanly and neatly, which was very nice. But Dan just backed out of it before the fountain. He lives to fight another day, and probably the smartest move, in fact, as Mazda had a scruffy part of the last lap with him and D Biggs just tripping over each other. Dan's on a mission here. He's right up behind. In fact, they're all here. Jamie's just behind this group as well, so don't count him out. Sooty Apex as well. We know Sooty's a keen overtaker, so these guys are all in this battle at the moment as Gary is catching Andy for the lead. He's
7/10 quicker last lap, Kelly.
Yeah. Yes, he is. So it's turning out quite tasty at the start of this lap. We're only lap 4, 20 to go. So if they keep racing at this kind of standard, then all good.
Yeah, all good for the rest of this night. Gary taking another 4/10 out of Andy on the last run. Or has he made a mistake this time, though? Because he's dropped a second to Andy, so I wonder if he's just had a bit of an off. Dan having to take over the curb there as he's looking for a way past Mazda, but cannot do it at all then. And Dan having to stay behind. D Biggs has had a bit of a problem there, and he's dropped back down now behind Big Boy Brazier. Managed to get it going before Sooty could get past. But this is now a good gaggle of cars, all being held up in a way by Keegs as such. Keegs let him Peaceful get away from him. Struggling a bit is Keegs, but this is allowing Jamie, who's having a look around the outside of Unorthodox, into the left-hander. And has he got that one done? Oh, they've touched each other! And Jamie's gone round, and that's cost Dan a couple of places then. I was going to say Jamie was trying around the outside. Should he maybe have backed out of it, as it looked like he tried to come across Unorthodox there. Dan now losing 2 places. Mazda's lost out to D Biggs, and Sooty going to look try and defend his inside line over Unorthodox. Now if Unorthodox can keep it on the outside, he'll be on the inside. Sooty's got to keep it there. Sooty will have the inside line for the hairpin if he can keep that nose up the inside, and he does perfectly.
Loads of space.
Yeah, brilliant respect from Dan there, and away they go. Sooty didn't look like he got a good run out the hairpin up compared to Dan, but I get the feeling that Keegs is just tripping up a few drivers here, Kelly.
Yeah, I'm just going to flick to this very quickly because Gary is now in less than a second behind Andy for the lead.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump back to these guys, Mazda, Unorthodox, all this lot, because that is the biggest kind of scrap on track at the moment, and Mazda just trying to gap down a little bit, but these guys are all very close, from Keegs right down to Sooty Apex, are all very, very close, and the biggest
You'll notice as well, Kelly, Big Boy Brazier has gone into the pits as Keegs was very slow coming through the right-hander, and D Biggs has gained another position on Keegan Walsh there then. So Keegs losing yet another position, and what's happened to D Biggs? He must have made a mistake as Mazda's now got back past this group of 5 cars are switching places. Oh, and Mazda's made a mistake, which has caught up with Dan, and that's not what he'd have wanted there. That's caught Dan. Has it caught Sutty? What damage has been done to them 2 cars? Deeks, another slowdown, another 10-second penalty for him, so not the night for Deeks in terms of penalties. Big Boy Brazier has been in the pits for a heck of a long time. He pitted off the back of this trail, and he's now only just come out the pits as these lot are coming to the end of their lap.
Yes, indeed, and Daniel having a nightmare trying to get past Mazda. Seems to be that Mazda makes a mistake and somebody else gets through, and poor old Dan gets knocked back again. So, it's... Dan is going to want to clear Mazda. He's going to feel like he's a bit of a unlucky charm in front of him.
As well as that, I noticed D Biggs passed Keegs, and then D Biggs had made a mistake, and Mazda got back through, and Dan lovely switch back there, and he's going to look up the inside. Mazda will fight this round the outside, but Dan has got that one done this time around. Sutty was having a little look, and Mazda lets that one go this time around. What can Sutty Apex do behind Mazda? Now, does Mazda have a bit of damage that he's suffering with? But Gary, as we see here at the battle for the lead, is right on the tail of Andy now.
Yes, I just jumped to this because Andy's all over the back of Andy now. This is for the race win. We know that Gary's got pace this evening, as we see that as we go on board with him. This is how close they are for the lead as they come round into the hairpin, and so you can see that. Will always accelerate, will always be on accelerator before you are, and just pulls that gap as they space back out again. But Gary definitely on a charge this evening. You're right, Matt.
Well, I mean, I'm lost for words. On my screen, there was a car parked at the pit exit, and Gary's just driven right through it. I don't know if that was the same on your screen.
I didn't see it.
That will be on the stream. Looking at the stream now, they're actually just coming down the start straight. They're coming through the hairpin. So watch the stream. There's a car parked on pit exit. I'm
watching the stream now. So. He just drove right through it. It was that then? It was a Lamborghini, was it?
It looks like a Lamborghini. I couldn't tell you what coloured Lamborghini, but there was a Lamborghini parked. And for a moment, I thought Gary's not seen this, and he's ploughed into the back of it. What's he doing, sort of thing? Because Andy stayed a bit left of the car. Dramas.
Crazy. I wonder what you were screaming about.
No! What's happened to our man Peaceful? He was third by a great margin. He's P7.
I don't know, look, his bonnet's all up. He's certainly put some damage onto that car again.
Mazda as well is struggling because Sutty's got past him, and they've all dropped him. They've dropped Mazda. But what's happened to our man? He was P3 by such a gap. Oh, Peaceful.
And another week goes on, and Peaceful has no luck whatsoever. And we're so hoping. And look, here we go. Someone coming out of the pits.
Yeah.
They've both got past there. Senior, I don't know that.
Andy's gone into the wall. Andy's gone straight on it, 2-1.
He's outbraked himself. No, Andy.
And that's gave Gary the race lead here. More importantly as well, Andy then straight on into the wall. What a shame for him.
Must have been just lost his bearings a little bit and unsighted by. Could be damage on that car as well. Oh yeah, she's looking like a mess.
Yeah.
That's going to be a pit stop
Andy.
for him. That's another race gone by the looks of it.
Got to get to lap 18 as well. Don't forget to score points in this race. Peaceful's in the pits. Whatever damage Peaceful's got, it's hurting him. Mazda must have damage as well because he's still behind Sutty. But Gary, what a drive he's had in this second race from mid-pack, back of the grid sort of thing, up into the lead within 8 laps. Dan's trying to copy that, but just can't. He's involved in this battle between Keegs and D Biggs and Sutty and Mazda. It's now just dropped off to be D Biggs, Keegs and himself. But oh dear. Andy and Peaceful, what has happened to them today?
Indeed, I think Gary's had all the luck that Peaceful was looking for this evening. Gary, managed to clear a lot in early doors where Daniels, who had just had a clump into the wall there, don't do that too often, Dan.
Andy's gone into the pits, but he's going to have himself a 10-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane maybe for Andy. So not only not only has he clipped the wall and got damage, and he's having to pit, he's now got to make sure he finishes 10 seconds ahead of the car behind him come the end of this race to be able to beat him over the time period. But what a terrible night for the Class of 97 driver. No teammate, so not scoring big constructors points tonight, and didn't score at all in the first race. It's a terrible, terrible night here. He's already dropped to 7th place. Owen Keegs has lost it coming to the fountain.
Goes through.
Phil as well. Phil's just dropped it. Little H has managed to get past, so Phil dropped it at the fountain. Phil went right round though, so that could be tricky to recover that one from there. Owen Keegs has dropped it again.
Oh, these guys having an absolute nightmare.
I tell you what, the Lamborghinis seem to really struggle tonight. The Lamborghinis have had no end of problems.
No, it does seem, and hey. My son gobbing off last night on commentary that the Lamborghinis are better than the Porsches.
What does he know when it comes to a commentary point of view?
What does he know? You little young whippersnapper, keep gobbing off about motorsport. What does he know about anything?
What does he know about it? Yeah,
silly boy.
Silly boy. But he's P3, he's back onto the podium at the moment, and he's right on the back of D Biggs. Just seen in the comments, Neil, I see that heart in mouth for Gary. That'll obviously be on the pit exit moment. And Ariel, aka Don Production, saying, Gary boy, guys, 18 people watching, hit that thumbs up button. Let's get this video to as many likes as possible. As we see Dan chasing down D Biggs.
Obviously, there's no curiosity left in the world because no one's asked us any questions about anything.
No.
So, everyone is all filled up with knowledge, so they don't need anything that we've got to say, Matt. So,
no,
nothing that we've got to say. If you do think of something, let's have it. Let's stick it in your comments. Talk to us. Talk to us about touring car or Formula One or how the weather's really fantastic here at Long Beach. And I don't know about you, but I need some more Factor 50.
I'll come and rub it on your back in a moment, buddy.
Thank you, darling. Appreciate that.
Introduce a Simplay Hall of Fame. Introduce who would be in the Hall of Fame at Simplay. Oh, there's a shout.
Wow.
Going over the two seats. Me and Kelly, obviously, we're straight in there.
At the top.
First two nominees. First two entrants, should I say, straight in there. You've got to put the champions. You've got to put the champions. So Big Boy Brazier Pro Am and Gary Pro, and then maybe the constructors of Welshie. Stove Sloth for MC Motorsport last season, and then the Leach brothers for Leach Motorsport last season as well. We may have to do an Hall of Fame, Ariel. I like that thinking. Who's ready for the touring car season in the F1? A few cars been announced. What's been your favourite F1 car so far this season?
What's been my favourite?
That's been launched? What's been your favourite F1 car launched so far?
I tell you what, I mean, there's a lot of teams that I particularly like and I follow. The last few years, it's been Red Bull. I've been a big fan of Red Bull for the last few years, but I'm going back to a team this year that I used to follow quite a lot, which is McLaren. I'm very excited for McLaren this year. I think Danny Rick in the car. Norris is a great little peddler, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant little driver.
And I think those two in that team with the Merc engine in the back of that car, I think the McLaren's going to do. I think there's a couple of race wins there in that car.
I've said that.
Yeah, certainly bothering the front end of the thing. So for me, I'm excited. Formula One, I'm excited about the McLarens. What about yourself, Matt?
McLaren. I've always been a big McLaren fan. I've always sort of cheered Lewis Hamilton on over the other drivers because he's British and I like the British people to win all the things. But the McLaren excites me this year. Danny Rick, a fantastic driver. Young Lando, outstanding. And with that Mercedes engine powering them along, I said this to to a couple of friends of my dad last season. That McLaren was the best car bar the Red Bull and Mercedes last season, right? Yes, at times the Racing Point outdid it, but I blamed the fact that they had the Mercedes engine for that. McLaren have a great chassis, a great aero team. The things that Zach Brown... D Biggs!
D Biggs dropped it.
Yeah, he's managed to keep it out the wall. Bit of a confusion there. Keegs has moved out the way to let it be lapped, and Dan's been overtaken by D Biggs in the process. Dan's very honest.
Dan let him through?
I'm just thinking this. Dan's a very honest driver. Did Dan nudge him and give him the place back? I wonder then.
Could be.
He's a very honest driver, is Dan, and very respectful in that sense. So I'm wondering, I'm wondering if Dan gave him the place back.
I just went to quickly look back at the stream then to try and work it out, and I just saw the tail end of it, and it was hard to tell on the camera. I don't know if Daniel did just tap him on the way in and just gave that back. Looked like it to me. That's what I would say would be, my guess on what happened there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd say so. But back to what I was saying was, ball that Renault engine in that McLaren, great chassis, great aerodynamic. Zach Brown and the guy on the pit wall, can't remember his name, foreign bloke. I can't remember his name. The guy who's running the show on the pit wall are doing such a good job. They've got even if they'd have kept Carlos Sainz and managed to keep hold of him, I think there's a race win in that car this year.
Definitely,
I really do.
Definitely.
I think that's the best. I think that could be better than the Red Bull this season, if I'm not going to lie.
I think it's going to be a strong car. I think Verstappen is a bit of a law unto himself, and he'll get the very best out of the car. But of course, the other ones. I mean, what are we thinking of Aston Martin? Do we think that Vettel's has just been off form for a couple of years, and he is the driver that we?
Now you see, I've never rated Vettel.
You know, no, you've never been a Vettel fan.
Never been a Vettel fan. I think he won. The thing that made me not a Vettel fan was the multi-21 with Webber. When Webber should have won that race around Malaysia and Vettel blasted past.
Yeah, but all the best champions are ruthless, Mike.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I think Vettel won his championships in a great car. Now, all right, a lot of people out there will say Hamilton's done the same. Hamilton's had the likes of Nico Rosberg and won it at McLaren when Ferrari was good and Renault was decent. Always the two DW Lamborghinis are really struggling tonight.
Lamborghinis. There's been Lamborghinis at the side
into
of the road.
Wall, yeah,
like old Fiestas, aren't they? You know.
And Hamilton's won titles against better teammates than Mark Webber. No disrespect to Mark Webber, but he's beaten Rosberg. He won it in the McLaren when the McLaren was very good, but other cars was also very good. As D-Biggs goes into the pits at the end of lap 13, I've never rated Vettel, and it's proven in that Ferrari over the years that he's never been as competitive. Kimi Raikkonen at his age still was as quick as Vettel. Leclerc's outshone Vettel, and for me, Vettel's one of these drivers where if he's not number one, he ain't interested. That's why I think he left Red Bull. Ricciardo was better than him, and he didn't like that fact. Sutty as well in the pits at the end of lap 13. I think that's why he left Red Bull. He wasn't as good as Ricciardo when he threw toys out the pram. Same with Leclerc. Leclerc's a better driver than him. And I think Aston Martin will be a similar thing. I think Lance Stroll will have the number on Vettel, and I don't think Vettel's going to do a lot.
I agree with most of what you said there, Matt. The last thing was I don't rate Lance Stroll at all. So
no, I don't.
If Vettel isn't better than Lance Stroll, then I will be very, very surprised.
I don't rate Lance Stroll, but I think he's getting better. Last year was a big improvement for him, in my opinion.
He was getting better, and I think, to be honest, the Racing Points missed an opportunity. They had a good car with mediocre drivers, you know.
You reckon Perez is mediocre?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
I tell you what, that Racing Point's nothing compared to Motive Racing's F1 Racing Point team on a Friday night. Their Pink Panthers are something special, and it's me and Gary. Me and Gary over at Motive Racing in the Pink Panthers. They what a team they are. No doubt, then. What a team.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I don't rate Perez at all. Never have done. The only reason he had a race win is because Mercedes couldn't read the tyre labels. Because George Russell
they decided to shaft George Russell because Hamilton wasn't in the car, and it looked bad that George Russell was outperforming Valtteri Bottas. Which in my eyes, why they Andy in the background's lost the rear of the car, and he's really struggling. He's P6 at the moment and has to keep it together to score good points here. In my eyes, why Bottas is still in that Mercedes and they've not got George Russell is beyond me.
It could be a Lewis Hamilton factor. That could, you know what I mean? I mean, George Russell's only got bided his time. He'll be the next man in the
George Russell will be there next year. Hamilton won't sign next year. Hamilton will not sign next year. And Russell will be in that car, and if they keep Bottas, Russell will outshine Bottas in his first season in that Mercedes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I'm a big Russell fan. Absolutely. I'm a big Russell fan. I like his work.
So am
I like what he's done.
Deal.
He's proven, and this is no disrespect to Williams, because Williams are a great team, their history and everything. But at the moment, Williams are terrible. And for me, what George is doing in that Williams, he's out-driving that car at times. We know he binned it at Imola when he could have scored his first point in the Williams, and he lost it under the safety car, didn't he? And all that last season. But Russell is out driving that car and deserves, personally for me, to be in that Mercedes seat this year instead of Bottas.
I agree totally. I think Russell is a champion in the waiting. I mean, let's be fair. I'd say the Williams is a great team, loads of history, got a lot of time for the Williams team, but it isn't quick enough. The car is not quick enough. We know that. Latifi is no slouch. Do you know what I mean? He is not a bad driver at all, but George is such a better one. And, you know, and my theory is, and it's just my theory, that Lewis will go another year. He'll take himself a reasonably comfortable 8th title.
Oh, D-Big's just getting out of shape, coming at the edge of the roundabout, and Jamie's gone up the inside. Sutty's back in the pit, so maybe more damage to that car. But Big Boy Brazy then up to P4. Unorthodox is now second with Master third. Gary leading this race, but Dan, Mazda and Gary still yet to pit here in race 2. Sorry, Kelly.
Yes, indeed. And hey, the racing on track's more important than me dripping on about Formula 1. But Lewis will take another 8th. Will take an 8th title. That will make him the most successful driver ever on everything. You know, and he'll bow out because 2022 is a rule change, and we know what happens with rule changes. You know,
changing dominance.
Things change.
Changing dominance, and it's hopefully 2022's rules and regs to bring better, closer racing between more teams, not just a runaway team. So, hey, we could be looking at Max Verstappen in that Red Bull in 2022.
Exactly.
I'm going to put this out here as well. Come 22, you could have Leclerc in the Ferrari, Norris or Ricciardo in that McLaren, Russell in that Mercedes, because when Hamilton retires at the end of this year, Russell will be in that 2022 Merc. Verstappen in that Red Bull. Maybe, depending on how the Renault's going and who is driving for them at the time, the Renault. I think 22 could be an outstanding year. Sorry, not Renault. It's Alpine, isn't it, this year? Alpine?
Alpine, or Alpine, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Don't count out Fernando Alonso. I mean, I am very excited to see Fernando back on track. Has he lost it? Is he still the driver that he used to be? Because up until he retired, pound for pound, I thought he was still the best driver on the grid.
That is Welsh or Deeks. I heard a car revving. Gary coming up to lap Big Boy Brazier and Deeks there. Obviously couldn't get out of the way, didn't want to reverse into the guys, but Jamie just caught him, which bounced him off the wall into D-Biggs' path. D-Biggs, just fighting with Gary a bit here. They both touch, and they're both round. D-Biggs being lapped by Gary here, and that is costly. What is D-Biggs doing? Trying to get it going. And there's Andy. And Andy's ploughed into D-Biggs. I don't think any fault of Andy's. Why did D-Biggs try and defend from Gary there?
I don't know.
I don't get that
doing.
one. A flash of the lights from D-Biggs, not sure why. He kind of caused that whole drama. And he's round again. Big damage. Gary, though, immediately into the pits at the end of lap 18. Does he have damage on that Porsche? If so, this could be an interesting race now. In comes Andy and D-Biggs yet again. Mazda and Dan, the only two not to pit. Deeks as well is in the pits. So then, interesting stuff happening here.
Yeah, that was all a bit messy. I don't know quite what was going on there, to be honest. That's not Gary's mechanic, so he drives through that box, Jensen Button style. He's that was a quick pit stop.
Well, he's not repaired damage. No, he's not done damage. He splashed and dashed there. While he's done that, can I just say, Dan has not passed him, so he's pitted. Where is Dan? There. So Dan...
he's got damage as well.
Yeah, Dan's got damage. So Dan didn't get past Gary in all of that. So, interesting. Gary, even with a bit of a spin, has had such a good lead that he's come out still P1. So doing bits is Gary at the moment. 20 people watching, 14 likes. Guys, hit that thumbs up button, get this to 20 likes. I don't get what D-Biggs was doing there, Kelly. It was It was as if he was fighting Gary for position.
Yeah, and then once they did spin, it all looked a little bit scruffy and a little bit amateur hour there. Do you know what I mean? And everyone races so well in these things. You and me were chatting off air before we started, and I was moaning about Muppets in the general lobbies, and how I was enjoying a race and someone just crashed into the side of me just because I was trying to pass them. We don't get that kind of malarkey. In these championships like here on Simplay and Motive and so on and so forth. All the guys are very respectful, but that all did just to look a little bit amateur hour there, for D Biggs as Daniel goes into the pits for his mandatory pit stop, and I'm sure there was no real silliness.
As his master follows him in as well, by the way. Just to say there, Kelly, sorry. Master following him, so everybody now has pitted in this race. So, Splash and Dash, who's going to have the better pit stop here, Master or Unorthodox? Who can get the jump on the other person? Both seem to have damage. Will that need repairing? That is the question. To Gary, pretty much home and dry.
You can switch the damage off, can't he? If he's
you can switch the damage off if you can drive with it. Jamie Brazier goes past up into P2. Dan stopped. Where's Mazda? Is he coming?
Where is Mazda?
No, still in his pit box.
He's still in there as well.
So Dan's got away. Dan pulled away just as we changed camera there. Big Boy Brazier's now up into second. Mazda clearly has repaired his damage. Where's Peaceful Explosion? That's the question to gain on Mazda. Or is Mazda going to get a P4 here? Peaceful's going to cross the line. And our man's having a bit of a better race, Kelly.
Oh, shush. He's only got 4 laps to go. And
he's got Mazda. He's got past Mazda then. So
easily.
Fight to the end maybe between Mazda and Peaceful Explosion here then.
Mazda's still not made the end of the pit lane. Oh yeah, there he is. There he is, just round turn 1. So Peaceful's got a gap on him, quite a gap. So just
4
keep
seconds.
it all together, Peaceful. Yes, indeed. No real fights on track at the moment. Who's left to pit?
No one's left to pit. Everybody's pitted now. Everybody has pitted. Everybody's done their mandatory pit stop. Guys, in the comments, get your vote in for driver of the day. Mining Community Kelly will do ours towards the end of the race. Vote for driver of the day, please. It can be anyone from race 1 or 2. Whoever you want that's taken part in tonight's race, get your votes in for driver of the day. Also, hit that thumbs up button. D-Biggs, that was worse than Pro-Am Group. Very bad. Thanks, Neil. For removing your previous comment with a bit of language in it. Gary then, well out in front, cruising if you like, he may as well. And really, he did all the hard work. Lap 1, Kelly did, Gary. Got up to P4 at the end of lap 1. And there's, he had a bit of a tough task to get past Andy. Andy then outbraked himself, and Gary's just been, to say he's not well. Two race wins here.
Needs to be unwell every week, doesn't he? Because
that seems to be the case.
Yeah, week in, week out, we talk about Gary. We know he's got pace. We know the guy's quick. We know he's a race winner and a champion. But he has these little moments where he just, loses the car and spin things round. Not the case tonight. He's been had control of that Porsche perfectly all evening. He's
had one mistake, race 1, where he clipped the wall. Where we didn't see it, but we saw the damage because there was no rear spoiler or anything on that car, race 1, and we don't know if that was his fault or not, but bar that mistake.
Well, that little bit of incident with D Biggs just a minute ago, which I don't think was. I mean, to be fair, Gary shouldn't have, been tangling with a back marker. So, however that panned out or whatever, that was, I don't think that was Gary's doing. To be fair, so he's had a very good drive this evening. So it's going to be hard to look past him for driver of the day. Although, and people will say I'm a little bit biased, but I think Dan has had a cracking good meeting this evening.
He's had a good night.
And he's had his headlight fixed because that's what the mechanics do. They fix headlights.
Quick bulb change.
Better than Halford's, really. So.
Was that a?
Dan, I think,
was that a slight dig at Honda there? Better than Halford's?
No, not particularly. No, that was a slight dig at Halford's.
I thought you cheekily got a sliding in there at the Honda team.
Oh no! If I were to dig at Honda, I would. I would. But that was Halford's, not Honda. But the two things go hand in hand. Yeah, absolutely.
Couple of people in the chat. Gary for driver of the day, says Liam Gamer. Joseph, Gary for driver of the day. Liam Gamer's actually changed his name on the PlayStation to that Bozzy Boy. I'm still going to refer to him as Liam Gamer for the fans out there. Neil says between Gary and Dan for him. It's hard to take it away from Dan, but I think Gary's just been above and beyond the better driver today. He's got the job done when he's needed to. Little Each, quiet race for him, P7 at the moment. Not really seeing much of Little Each today. He had a quiet race 1 and a quiet race 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Just doing the business. In 7th at the moment.
Oh, we've had a retirement.
And who's that?
Oh, I can't see, actually. I can't tell.
Yeah, I'm on. You know those games where you have to kind of remember things.
Remember who's in it, yeah.
Yeah, I was rubbish at that.
Mazda.
Oh,
well,
Mazda,
he was on the lead lap, so he's got to lap 18, but Mazda's retired from the race. Not sure what's happened there. Not sure what's happened there at all, but Mazda will score points for 13th place, or for 14th place, should I say, so we still get 2 points towards his name. But yeah, unfortunately, he's had to retire there. Evening to Pure Motorsport in the chat. Nice to see you with us.
Hello, Pure Motorsport. Thanks for turning up.
Nice to see you here, guys. Leave a like on that video. 20 people watching, 15 likes. Also, get them final comments in for Driver of the Day, as this man is on his final lap, and I'm going to give it to Gary. It's hard to look. You know, Dan's drove brilliantly. Big Boy Brazier's drove well, 2 podiums. But I think this man's just been better today on the day, to be fair.
Well, I'm going to go for Dan. I say not because I'm biased, but I probably am. But I think he's just had a really good showing. He picked his double points race correctly for the race that he was strong at, or he thought he would be strong at. So that was a smart move. And I think Dan's just driven really, really, really professionally tonight. And proud of the boy. So, you know, for me, it's going to be Dan for my Driver of the Day.
No, don't blame you with that one at all there. Gary then is coming around the final couple of corners. Shame we lost Mazda at the very end. But Gary then looks like he's going to take the double, and I've seen his pace. I think he's been the only man in the 118, so it looks like to have the fastest lap of the race as well. But he's going to cross the line here, and it's going to be a double. I think he ought to be ill a bit more often. The double for Gary, 131 then. And I tell you what, pulling points on Jamie Brazier in that title fight, who looks like he's going to come home P2 in this one. 25 seconds up the road from Unorthodox, so he's well clear of Dan. So P2 it looks like for him. Unorthodox then. Sorry, go on, Kelly.
Quite a field spread, isn't there, for a track that's quite so short? You know, and over 24 laps. Quite the field spread, really.
Yeah, you know? I think that's due to the amount of damage people may have got that has been sustained. Big Boy Brazier crosses the line for P2, and it's back to Unorthodox, who's actually got Peaceful Explosion gaining on him here. So Peaceful Explosion here could, if Dan doesn't get around this final part of the track right, could nick a podium. Our boy could be on the, well, your boy could be on the podium, but then again, the man we keep cheering for could be on the podium as well. Look how much he's gained on Unorthodox. This could it's not going to be a drag to the line now. Dan looks like he's going to take the P3 narrowly from Peaceful Explosion, who's going to take fourth. A flash of the lights from both of them gentlemen there. Good racing for them too. Peaceful P4 is good race for Peaceful. He's been on the podium once this year, and that is then his best race since then. Phil, another man on double points, has finished P5 a lap down, with Little Leach P6 a lap down as Mazda left the session there, so I hope all is well. It may be the little one. With Gary earlier on. Keegs P8 for him, so not the best of races for Keegs, but a P8 nonetheless, still points in the championship. Andy, what a poor night, 2 pole positions, and not the best night for him in P9.
No, not at all.
Sooty Apex coming home in 10th place, bit of a quiet one for Sooty Apex. Looking at fastest lap, look, Gary an 18 dead. Absolutely stonking lap there for him. Monkey Boy in the Forever Forward Racing Constructors seat P11. Welshit will claim P12 with Deeks 13th as well.
Look at that, Monkey Boy and Deeks with 50 seconds of penalties.
Wow, speeding in the pit lanes, that is incredible.
Speeding, I think they were whizzing right off their heads.
Surprised they didn't get disqualified for that amount of penalties, to be honest with you. I'm surprised there was no disqualification. Gary, the extra point for fastest lap. What a drive. If Dan and Jamie are listening, if they want to come back in for a final quick word, more than welcome to do so. Just while I redo this table then. So as I go from the points and get rid of this on my statistics, 208 points up for grabs, and Gary leads by 36 at the moment. Fury is all but out of it so far in the championship. Not turning up tonight. His relegation looks all but confirmed, if you ask me, at the moment. Gary then doing well. Little Leach now would be above G if G came back in the point standing, so he's officially 4th overall, but obviously with G not coming back, we do believe G is kind of eliminated from that championship for the time being. Like I say, he's more than welcome to come back if he is able to. If not, that's fine. Andy goes above Emo Guy with Emo Guy not scoring tonight. Peaceful and Sooty again. Dan up above Keegs, Welshie and Phil. So comfortably now in that mid-table section is Dan.
That was a good result, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff for him. Mazda stays above the bottom two. A bit behind Welshie now as Welshie and Keegs have outscored Mazda tonight, but still plenty of points up for grabs. Looking at the tables, yes, Mazda, Keegs and Deeks can be out of the running as from next week. But we are joined in the commentary box by Jamie and Dan. Boys, great night for yourself. Dan, that was a struggle at the end.
Yeah, me and Andy got bored, so we decided to have a dice, but none of you guys saw it. So
no, we didn't see that.
No, Andy was obviously 9th, and I was fighting for 3rd, and we were nowhere near anyone, so we thought, sod it, we're going to have a laugh and have a good fight. And then I messed it up into turn 1 and outbraked myself, and Peaceful caught up to the back of me, so...
he nearly caught you there at the end as well. He was, were you suffering damage at the end there with that hit?
I just want to say, there's all sorts of chaos going on. I don't know what half of the drivers were doing. Like...
Yeah,
I was trying to be as patient. I was trying to be as patient as possible, but people were just brake testing, just making silly errors, running wide, hitting walls, and I'm just like, "What are you guys doing?" And I could not make any room. Gary, I don't know how he done that, but he flew through that pack.
Oh, Gary was incredible that one, wasn't he?
Oh, he's gone. Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the stroke of luck. I'll say luck, but you know what it's like. First half lap, it panned out really well for Gary, which was useful. But yeah, we saw a bit of that. Did you, Dan? Did you have a little nudge with D Biggs? We saw you pass him, and then what happened there?
As one of the drivers left the pit, I believe. It was
Keegs, I think
one of the no, I don't think it was Keegs. I think it was one of the
Lamborghinis, wasn't it?
The bright coloured Lambos. I think it might have been Deeks or something like that.
Okay.
He came out the pits badly, and D Biggs has already been distracted by the car in front. He then made contact with that car, and obviously because he then made contact with that car, he then slowed into me. I then nudged him ever so slightly, so then obviously I got past him, but he flashed his lights, so I assumed that he thought that I'd nudged him past. So instead of worrying about a penalty, I just let him pass because I obviously had more pace, so I just be patient again.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't quite see how that started off. We saw you go past and then slow down again to let him back through.
Yeah, so, I was suffering with damage. I was suffering with damage, and then Little Leach, as he's put in the comments, he says sorry about turn 1. He was a lap down and gave me a tag around the inside, and I lost loads of time. But hey, it's racing, is what it is. You can't be perfect everywhere, can you?
No, that's
it. I mean, good result for you tonight, wasn't it? A 2nd and a 3rd, double points. That's just what you needed, wasn't it?
Yep, that's why I saved it for Long Beach. But awesome night's racing.
Well done, Dan. Best, congrats on tonight and best luck next week. Jamie, you had a good battle with Dan early doors, as well as Mazda and D-Biggs and Keegs, your teammates. Seemed to be holding the pack up a bit. And then you and Dan kind of tagged each other in that one. You tried to go the long way around and got tapped from Dan. Was that you coming back across the circuit, or Dan tapping the bag here?
I think that was me coming for the racing line, Dan trying to get the line as well, so I think it was just a bit of...
I tried to get the undercut. Undercut, and I didn't realise where you were, and then...
Yeah,
such gentlemen, Matt, aren't they?
I know, it's too nice. You won't get... Matt Neal and Jason Plato wouldn't have been like this. He'd have ripped his effing head off, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're going to kill each other.
Jamie, you were in my way. Next time, get out of my way.
Jamie, you had a cracky race again. Another bit of damage early doors. Pitted similar lap to last time because of the damage, and worked your way through for P2 this time.
Yeah, I did. It was a bit more difficult though, because I couldn't see what lap I was on, what speed I was doing, what fuel I had, or anything.
Oh, right.
That information wouldn't come up on your screen then?
No, so all it was a blank screen and just the car.
Oh, right. Lovely.
So well, there you go.
Really second guessing.
So I want to apologise to Deeks, because when we were coming round onto the long back straight, I tagged him in the back because I couldn't. Right. He was in the wall, and I just tagged him in the side and took his rear wing off because I couldn't see that he was there because I had no track map.
Yeah, with you. Well, congrats on tonight, Jamie.
Pardon?
Congrats on tonight, buddy.
thank you.
Go on, Kelly, what was you going to say?
No, I was just going to say that it's less distracts the, when all that stuff's going on screen. I'm terrible for looking at times and so on and so forth, and then all of a sudden I've crashed. It can be a distraction, but it's also incredibly important information. So, something extra to think about, Jamie, but a good result in the end anyway.
Yeah, so I had to get Keeks and Mazda just to relay what lap.
Do you know what was wrong with Mazda? Because we've seen him leave the session. Do you know what happened there?
He just had massive damage and.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaylee in the chat just put Jamie being a gentleman and 2 laughing, crying emojis. Kelly, any final words from yourself tonight?
Another good night's racing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, as we started this evening, I was moaning about the Muppets in the general lobbies. This is a different ball game. All these guys drive fairly, as you just heard with those 2 guys. Drive like professionals. Everyone enjoys themselves. So for anybody out there who wants to get involved, sign up. Get involved if it's here on Simplay Motorsport or on Motive or whatever. Get involved, become part of the community.
Yep, become part of the community. If you want to head over to Motive, go to www.motiveracing.com. Check out the Discord server, like and subscribe their stuff because they do a cracking job over there as well. Indeed. But that's all we've got from Simplay Motorsport tonight. We'll be back next week for for the Indianapolis Road Course, the track you can see on your screen at the moment. 13 turns, 2.5 miles long. The Brickyard, as they like to call it over there. We'll be there.
Bottle of milk at the end of that one,
for the winner. Bottle of milk for the winner around that one. We'll be live Wednesday night for the Pro-Am at 8 PM and live Thursday night for the Pros at the same time. I hope to be joined by Kelly again for that one next Thursday.
I certainly will, mate.
But from all of us at Simplay Motorsport, take care, have a good evening and weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
And we're clear.
Excellent.
Sorry about that tap, Jamie.
That's alright.
Terrible, Andy. Dan, one on you.
Just
terrible. Yeah, I would. Second or third, something like that at the end of that one. Yeah. Yeah, he was awful tonight, to be fair.